this segment of Bookbuzz. I'm Miss Jamie, and I'm a Youth Services Librarian at Clarkston Independence District Library, and this segment of Bookbuzz is for children in grades preschool through 2nd. So these are all going to be books for kids who are bored, and oh my goodness, with everything going on in the world, we're all stuck inside right now, and I'm sure we're all getting bored sometimes. So these books will help combat that. I have books that talk about being bored. I have activity books that give you ideas of things to do when you're bored. And I have interactive books that help you get active and engage with books. Now, all of these books are going to be available through the Clarkston Independence District Library through either Overdrive or Hoopla. And if you're not part of our library, if you're through another library, they probably will have Overdrive too, or maybe even Hoopla. So it's worth checking into your library to find out. But for Clarkston Independence District Library card holders, all you have to do to check these out are go to our website, CIDLibrary.org, click on our eLibrary tab, and click either Hoopla or Overdrive and sign up with your library card. And then you'll have access to tons of titles, including the ones I'm talking about today. So the first one I'm talking about today is called Barnacle is Bored. And this is a newer book, and it's one of my favorite new books that we have. It's very cartoony, and it's written like a cartoon. So the character will speak, and there'll be the little word bubble above their heads. And it's all about this character called Barnacle, who's bored. And if you don't know what a barnacle is, it's like a tiny sea creature that sticks to a different object and just stays there all the time, and it gets its food, its water, all that while it's stuck in that place. So this barnacle in the book is stuck on a dock, and he is just sitting there, and at the beginning of the book he just says, "I'm bored. I am so bored." And he just keeps going on and on about how bored he is until one day he's not bored anymore. And a lot of stuff happens to him, and I can't wait for you to read it and find out what happens. But basically, if you've ever heard the phrase, the grass is always greener on the other side, well, that phrase means that sometimes things look better when other people have them than they do when you actually get them yourself. And that's kind of what Barnacle finds out in this story. He kind of finds out that maybe being bored isn't that bad after all. The next book is called I'm Bored by Michael Ian Black. And that one's available on Overdrive, just like Barnacle is Bored. And I have a special prop for us. Do you know what this is? It's a potato. It might look a little different than potatoes you've seen before. This is a red skin potato. But the reason I have this is because it's a main character in the book I'm Bored. So the book I'm Bored is about a girl, and at the beginning of the book she's bored and she doesn't know what to do, and then she finds a potato. And she's like, "Potato? What am I going to do with a potato? Potatoes are boring." And then the potato surprises her by saying that children are boring. And after that, the girl decides that she needs to prove to this potato that children are not boring. And she tries all sorts of different things, fun things, to show that potato what things are really like. So I encourage you to check out that book. Again, that was I'm Bored by Michael Ian Black. The next books that I'm going to talk about are activity books that give you ideas of things you can do when you're bored. The first one is called Crayola Boredom Busting Crafts by Rebecca Felix. And it's full of different activities that you can do using common items that you might be able to find around your house. For example, do you have one of these around your house? It's just a cardboard box from Amazon. If you have one of those, Crayola Boredom Busting Crafts gives you ideas for making a castle out of boxes like that, which is pretty fun. It also has ideas for making costumes, making puppets, making all sorts of things. So lots of fun, creative ideas, and definitely worthwhile if you're bored. The next book is also available on Overdrive, and this is called 30-Minute Edible Science Projects by Anna Lee. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the CIDL staff love food. I love food so much. I mean, spaghetti, tacos, pizza, any kind of food. You know what? We love it at the library. And when our patrons bring in food for us, like chocolate or anything, oh my gosh, that just makes our day. So if you are like that and love food too, then you'll probably love this book. It's a STEM book, but it's also full of food. And so you do science experiments with the stuff that's in the book, and then you can eat it. In this book, you'll learn how to make marshmallows, soda pop, and ice cream in a bag. It's a lot of fun and tasty too. And most of the ingredients are things you might already have in your fridge at home, or they are available at your local grocery store. And luckily, grocery stores are still open right now. So I encourage you to check out that book. It was 30-Minute Edible Science Projects by Anna Lee. The next couple books that I'm talking about are interactive books, or stories that you don't just sit and listen to. You have to do actions during the book. The first one's called Don't Push the Button by Bill Cotter. And this one's available on Overdrive. In Don't Push a Button, there is a monster who's telling you that there's one rule in this book. We should not push the button. And there's a big button in the book. And unfortunately, the monster is a curious monster, and you'll have to read to find out what happens when his curiosity gets the best of him. There's another book out there that's really fun. It's called Guess Who Haiku by Bob Shea. And Bob Shea is one of my favorite authors. He has written Crash/Moo, if you've ever read that book, or the Dinosaur Versus series, like Dinosaur Versus Bedtime. And those ones are awesome too. So just a lot of really fun interactive books. So if you can find anything by him, that's probably a good book. But this one is called Guess Who Haiku, and if you didn't know, April is National Poetry Month, and a haiku is a kind of poem. It's a Japanese poem that usually only has 3 lines to it, and not very many words, so it doesn't take long to read. And even if you don't like poetry, you'll probably like this book because all the poems are Guess Who riddles. So you read the poem and you gotta try to guess what animal it's talking about. I was able to guess them all. Let's see if you can do it too. Our next book is called Huff and Puff by Claudia Rueda, and that one is available on Hoopla. And Guess Who Haiku is also available on Hoopla. I forgot to mention that. So Huff and Puff by Claudia Rueda is a story about the 3 little pigs, and I'm sure you've all heard the 3 little pigs before. You know, there was the first little pig that made his house out of straw, there was the second little pig who made his house out of sticks, and the third little pig who made his house out of bricks. And then came the big bad wolf, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the houses down. Or at least he tried to. So this book is based on that one, but it's a little bit different. In this book, you're the one who's going to be huffing and puffing. And you might be like me, and you might not really want to knock down the 3 little pigs' houses, but don't worry about it. There's a fun twist at the end of the story. So those are all the books that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you had fun during this video, please like it and subscribe so you can see more just like it. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay active, and don't stay bored. So thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.